Yeah, so it can really take a hit on their performance. Um, o- Oftentimes athletes will, maybe start looking at their food a little bit differently because maybe they're not performing as well as they thought. Um, and so they'll start cutting out different foods here and there. And so then their overall calorie intake can change. So they're really not playing as well as they used to because they're not eating as well as they maybe had to. Women will often experience the female athlete triad. Um, so what the female athlete triad includes would be disordered eating, amenorrhea, so a loss of period, and then osteoporosis too. So what can happen when a woman isn't getting her period regularly? That can turn into losing some calcium and some bone loss, and that really puts the athlete at a great increased risk for stress fractures of the bone, or even breaking very significant bones too. So soccer players could experience some stress fractures, and that's going to really take a hit on their performance. Mentally, that's pretty difficult for them to overcome too. I also notice when athletes aren't eating enough, muscle mass will decrease too, so they're not playing as strong. When my athletes are in my office and maybe their parents are coming in, parents will notice, they didn't look like they were concentrating as well as they had, or they just didn't look strong. They looked like they were really getting out of breath when they were running down the field, too, are some of the things that have been noticed.
Would you say that athletes are more prone to an eating disorder than somebody who's not an athlete?
Yep. Yes. Yep. So there's quite a few different studies that will kind of look at high school athletes or college athletes. So some of the stats that you can find would be like with college athletes, they're going to have an elevated risk of developing an eating disorder. One study that I found that the number of college athletes at risk for developing either anorexia nervosa, so we call it AN, or BN, bulimia nervosa. So among women, 35% of college athletes were at risk of developing an eating disorder, and 10% of college males were at risk of developing anorexia nervosa. And then as far as developing BN for a college athlete, 58% of women college athletes were at risk, and 38% of college males athletes were at risk.